G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. We are in the desktop of Ubuntu Budgie 21.04, Hirsute Hippo, once again. So this is a fresh install and we're going to quickly run through the Budgie welcome. And straight off the bat on Budgie welcome we have the browser palette. And on here we can straight up choose to remove Firefox, install the snap of Firefox, Chromium, web browser, Google Chrome, Vivaldi, Brave, Opera, I don't know how to pronounce that, Midori, Gnome Web, and Ephemeral. Now, I haven't heard of that one before, but it says you can browse the internet in private without leaving a trace of history on your computer. Sounds interesting. Ephemeral is a stripped-down private browser that's perfect for avoiding persistent cookies or web trackers. Close the window and all traces of your browsing are removed from your device. Okay, so that might suit some people. Now we'll click the back arrow on that, and you'll notice that this side category list here comes in and out on the same page, so you remember what page you were on. I like that touch. Don't remember doing that in the past. I think that's new, and then it transitions out to the side once you've made your selection, which is a nice little touch. So let's go to customization and see what we have there. So it'll show you the way to Budgie desktop settings, which is also here in the menu. And that's the very first page of the menu, as you can see that dot there, and then you've got your other pages that you can scroll across like so. And then you've got your normal settings. So Budgie desktop settings, and let's see if we can find the normal settings. And that'll take you to your normal settings. Now, I don't know where the normal settings are on the menu, to be honest. If we do a search for settings, you can definitely find it here, settings. But where is it in the menu? If we go to the other type of menu, we might find it in here, probably under System Tools. Nope. Well, it's really bizarre. I can't find the actual settings in the menu. I don't know if I'm looking for the wrong thing. Bizarre. Maybe we'll wait till we do an update. Anyway, that's customization. We've got keyboard shortcuts here, and there's a lot of them. I'll just leave it there, you can pause it. Then we go to updates and extras. Check for updates. Updates have been issued since installation, so that's install now. And the software on this computer is up to date. And then we can install restricted extras. Restricted extras helps you with non-free, let's see, installs the ability to play popular non-free media formats, including DVD, MP3, QuickTime, Windows media formats, and so forth. So there are some copyright issues with that, so there may be a problem where you live. There's the legal notice there, so check that out, but I'm going to install it. And that's installed. Completed installation of restricted extras. Let's just check out the notifications here. Oh, it didn't show up in the notifications there, fair enough. Let's go back. Then we've got drivers. I'm all ready to go because I don't have any additional drivers that need to be installed on this system. It's a Intel NUC. A language and input. We've got these things here. I've never actually had to use any of these. I'm sure it comes in handy for certain people. Optional tasks. Then you got your backup, Deja Dupe, to back up your system, firewall, and configure users. System specifications, that's my system specs there. Very well presented system specifications there, I like that. It's a bit similar to Ubuntu Mate, so they're all getting some nice presentations of your computer system these days, and it's quite good to see that. Now that's getting started. We go back on that one, and as you see, the Budgie welcome has taken us directly, once we've gone through the getting started and right through the category list, it then takes us directly, once you arrow back, into the appearance and also the desktop layouts. Ubuntu Budgie has provided many appearances that you can change to, and they've got certain names for it. This one's called Ant. The Ant appearance here, which is a light appearance with the Budgie Classic menu. I think it must be called Budgie Classic because they've changed the menu now. Then you've got Arc Design, which is a dark theme, also with the Budgie Classic menu. Then you've got Materia Design, which is called... Then you've got Material Design, which is called Materia, which is another variant on the dark theme, with also the Budgie Classic menu. Then we have Material Design Vimix, another variant of the dark theme, with the Budgie Classic menu as well. We have, I think it's Mojave, is it? Is that a name of something in Mac, I believe? I think that's how you pronounce it, Mojave. Then you got the Budgie menu, the new Budgie menu there with a dark theme. Then Pacillo, another variant of the dark theme with the Budgie menu, the new Budgie menu. Then the Quagga Budgie. I like Quagga theme. It doesn't have it in dark. Maybe there is you can change that to dark with the Budgie Classic menu, and also you've got the White Sir with a new Budgie menu, another variant of the dark theme as well, with the plank down the bottom. Oh yes, they all had plank down the bottom, these ones. And then we got desktop layouts. So we have Ubuntu Budgie layout. It's got the plank at the bottom. Classic Ubuntu Budgie. What was the difference between those two? Oh yeah, that's the classic menu. That's the new menu. Redmond there with the new Ubuntu Budgie menu, and it's got the options there to have the category list or the icon list. Traditional Budgie, very similar, just with the traditional or the classic Budgie menu. Then you got the One, which looks like Unity, and it's also got the global menu on top, and all your icons down the sidebar, which is what Unity does, with the top bar across there. And then you got Cupertino, very similar. It's got the plank down the bottom, not the sidebar like Unity. It's got the new Budgie menu. So I don't know what menu that was housing. It doesn't show. I'd have to think probably the new Budgie menu in that one, I would think. So that's a desktop layouts. Then we go back to the Budgie welcome, where you can go back to themes and layouts if you want to go back to there. Then you've got introduction features. You can go back to getting started if you want. You can go back to getting started if you missed something there. Recommendations. They have recommendations. You can install backports for Dropbox. Install and configure Dropbox. So you can install Dropbox there. You need to install the backports for that. I think there might be a couple of others. I did install something that needed backports. That's Applets. I think certain Applets you need backports as well. And obviously for Dropbox you need that as well. So you can install and configure Dropbox here. Install Flatpak support. Install Nemo Share. Gluten Print is installed. Snap is already installed. That's under recommendations. Then you got install software. You can use Flatpak, Snap Apps, Software Center, recommendations, and Budgie Extras. So let's check out the Budgie Extras. These are applets that are being made for the Budgie desktop, the Ubuntu Budgie desktop, not the Solus one. And as you can see, there are plenty to choose from. Now these are very hard to to go through them all because there's so many. We can just quickly have a look at some of them. Analog Clock Applet, Application Launcher Applet, application menu applet, which is already in there. I think that's the new stylish applications menu applet that's already installed. As you can see, it's got a remove button there. Auto keyboard switcher applet, which is already installed. Brightness control applet. Browser profile launcher applet. Calendar applet. Clipboard applet. Clockworks applet, which is good for keeping tabs on times in different time zones. Countdown applet. Time for a break, you can count it down. It'll probably remind you. CPU frequency applet. Drop by applet, which is when you've got a USB installed. You can use that to eject them and so forth. Fast kangaroo applet, so you can browse your folders through a list here rather than clicking on folders themselves. So that's quite handy. You've got the fuzzy clock applet, global menu applet, which is installed because that would be supporting that Unity style desktop layout. So that's why that's already installed. You've got the haste applet. You got the hot corners applet. Light pad applet, which is a full screen menu. Very handy if you like that sort of thing. Network applet, which is already installed. Pixel saver applet. Previews applet, which again is already installed, which is an alt tab. That is your alt tab, I believe. Quick character applet. Recently used. Screen rotation lock. Screenshot. Status notifier. System monitor. Another system monitor. Take a break. Trash. It's already installed, that one. Visual Space, already installed. Wall Street. I think it's something to do with wallpapers and backgrounds, I believe. Weather forecast. Window mover. Window shuffler, which is already installed. Workspace overview. Workspace stopwatch. And workspace wallpaper, which allows you to put different wallpapers on different desktops or workspaces, I believe. So you can identify different workspaces. So they are the applets for Ubuntu Budgie. Many applets there to make Ubuntu Budgie your own. So I think this is what they've done here is people like to create their own work style, and with Ubuntu Budgie they've given you just about everything that you could possibly want to create a Budgie desktop that suits you and your workflow. So I can see that being very handy for a lot of people. You got online store, community, get involved and donate. And if we go back, we cannot go back, that's it. So once you get out of the Budgie welcome, if you want to go back into it, you can go to the Budgie welcome, which is here. And it'll take you back into the Budgie welcome, and you can come back in here at any time. I think they do have support for Budgie themes and layouts in the menu, Budgie extras, Budgie discourse there, Budgie desktop settings, and the Budgie welcome. Which brings us to the menu. We'll just quickly go through the menu and see what's here. And that's the menu. So that's just quickly run through the categories. You've got accessories there. That's your accessories. games, graphics, internet. So they've got Thunderbird out of the box, Firefox and transmission, full LibreOffice suite, iBus preferences, LibreOffice again. I installed OBS Studio and Simple Screen Recorder. So it comes with Rhythmbox, Cheese and Celluloid. System tools. I cannot find system settings in the menu anywhere. System monitor. While we're at it, let's have a look at the system monitor and the resources it's using. Now, just keep in mind, this is running from a USB. It's on a dock running from USB. So that I don't know if that causes more resource usage, but I am also recording with OBS Studio and also with the camera. So I suppose we've got to keep those things in mind. We're using 2.3 gig of memory, and the CPUs are probably as expected with the current situation here, with me recording and so forth. Here we've got time and date settings, calendar. There's your calendar. Now we've got the Budgie desktop settings. So you've got style options here in the settings and plenty to choose from there. Icons as well. You've got options for dark theme, built-in theme, animations, desktop options there, desktop icons, active mounts, show all active mounts on the desktop, add a shortcut to your home directory on the desktop, show your trash on the desktop, number of virtual desktops or workspaces you can adjust here, fonts, Raven menu, you can adjust a few things in Raven menu. You've got the power strip, which is down the bottom will have a strip. Let's just check that out quickly. And there it is there, options for, what's that, system settings or Budgie, oh, it's Budgie desktop settings. Lock screen and log out. Options for Windows here. And then you've got your top panel that you can work with. Now we've got a date, which is called the Showtime applet here. Now it's under my video where you can see me. So what we'll do is we'll it's normally on automatic. As you can see now, it's just sticking out of the side of the video there. As you can see, I can see the whole thing, but you can't. So what we'll do is we'll uncheck automatic, click drag position, and it says super plus drag. So hold the super key down and drag that where you want it to, and then just click on save position, and that's done. So when here on this top panel, we can add as many applets as we like. But if we want more applets, of course, we have to go to the Budgie extras and add the applets that we want to use. You do out of the box have a quick note here that you can write quick notes down for. You've got access to all your home folders, quick links, plus local volumes that are connected. You got your workspace switcher here. Which one is that one? Let's have a look at Budgie desktop settings, top panel. Now if we go from here, I think it is Raven, when we work our way up, you'll probably find quick note, drop by applet is there, app indicator applet, visual space. So that's the visual space that we've got running up here. And then you've got other options as well. Now, what I've noticed with the Budgie desktop now is they've integrated the Windows Shuffler quite nicely, and I was messing around with this. And let's have a look, the Windows Shuffler. So let's scroll across, Windows Shuffler. So certain things won't work with the Windows Shuffler unless you enable them. So you've got enable Windows Shuffler, enable Windows Shuffler Grid, enable window layouts, and then you've got your settings across here and shortcuts for quarter and half tiling. Now, I don't think any of these work unless, let's just open a window here. So I'm pressing super plus 1, which is the bottom left corner, like so. It's control super 1, sorry. Control super 1. See, it's not working. So to get that working, you need to enable the Windows Shuffler. So move and resize. So a lot of these things will not work until you enable the Windows Shuffler. Control Alt S is show the grid. Control Alt S, and that's not working because it's not enabled. So let's enable all these things here. Let's do that. Now I'm going to have to try and remember what these things are. So I was messing around with the Windows Shuffle, and I quite like the way that Ubuntu Budgie have integrated that into the system. So we've now done all those. So let's close that. Let's open a few windows. I need to add a few more things down into here. Let's put that there. And I like the way that the menu also opens up at the last position that you were in, which is quite handy because quite often you find you might want to go back there. So, which I do, which is the text editor I want to throw down there as well. And let's go back and open. I just want some simple windows to open, maybe the system monitor. Now I think you'll find that this doesn't work very well with some of the settings. So if you've got the Budgie settings and Budgie extras and things like that, I think it comes under any settings as well. It doesn't. They don't seem to conform to some of the grids that are up there. That's what I found was happening. So what you can do is if you open a few, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if we go Control Super A, that'll align all of those to a grid. Now the grid at the moment, now if we show the grid, which is Control Alt S, show grid, Control Alt S, it doesn't seem to want to show the grid. I must be doing something wrong. So let's go to Windows Shuffler, grid. All right, so it's not showing the grid. I don't know why that is. Let's close these for a minute. Close tabs. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here. I may have to log out to get that working. I'm not sure. It doesn't appear to be working. So what I'll do is I'll do a log out and log back in. I think that could be the issue. Okay, so I've logged out and logged back in. We will try that again. Control Alt S shows you the grid. Let's go back to the Windows Shuffler here. The grid's always on top, but you'll see the grid. Control Alt S, add a column. Okay, so if we add a column, we arrow right, and then we can arrow down. So I've got 6 there, 2, and it shows you where those grids are on the desktop, as you can see. So if I open, if we press escape, that gets rid of the grid. If we open 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we press Control, Super and A to align all those to the grid. Then you've got all your windows aligned to the grid. So I find that pretty handy for just aligning all your windows if you need to. Some people probably use it like this. Me, not particularly, but I do like to have 2 halves at times. So let's change the grid. Let's show the grid. Control, Alt and S, show the grid. Now I can arrow left and arrow up. So if you've got 2 there and you arrow down, it'll add 2. But if you've got 1, you arrow down, it'll add 1. If you arrow right, it'll add 1. So if you've got 2 and you go down, it'll add 2. Arrow right, it'll add 1. So if you've got 2 and you've got 2 windows open, text editor and that, and then I go Control Super A, then that puts them, splits them half the screen. So that, to me, is handy. Other people might work with 6, but if you have a look at this, it shows you where they are on the grid, which is let's press escape and get rid of the grid. And then you've got 2 working applications working side by side and easily sent to the grid. Now if we move this to another workstation and move this down here, full screen it, we go Control, Super and A, that goes to the grid. That one's not on there, so it hasn't gone to the grid because it was on the other monitor. So we go Control, Super A again, and now they're on that monitor. Then it works with what's on that monitor, not on the second monitor. My OBS is running on my other monitor, it's not doing anything. It's just controlling everything on this monitor here. Have another look and extend this a little bit more, the window shuffler. We have tiling and layouts. And you've got to call the layouts quick list and settings. So Super Alt L. So Super Alt L will bring up this, and we can go add new. So I'm trying to figure out what we name this. So I'm going to name it, let's see, let's call it my work layout. Let's go with that, work layout. So let's create that, work layout, done. So then we go to edit. So that's add a task. Let's call it text. And the command will be gedit. Now, window manager class group, I'm not sure what that is, so I'm just going to name it gedit all the way through. Gedit. That's what I'm going to do. Then it's asking you for the position and size. So the grid size, rows and columns. So let's just say we had, for this one row and 1 column. And then the target position will be 0, I think is the top corner, I believe. And 0, which is, so you're talking X, Y coordinates here. And the cell span would be, well, actually, if we go 2 and 2, and then we want it to span 1 by 1, I think it is. And we'll target the first monitor, which is, I think, the monitor that we're on, I believe. So let's go, let's do a test on that. Okay, so it's gone to a quarter. So it's 1, 2 there, and 1, I'm not sure how that works. Grid size, columns and rows. So we'll go 1 and 1. Target position is 0 and test. So that's, okay, so that's full screen. Let's test that one. That's half screen up top. Okay, so we go 1 on that one and 2 on this one. And then we'll test that. And then we've got half there. So if you wanted it on the other side, then I think this would be on the Windows span would be 2. Let's test that. No, it goes across. Okay, so that's 1. But we want the target to be 1. Let's test that. So it's on the other side. So if that was a 0, then it would be on the left side. So text is on the left side. Let's go done on that one. And then we add another task, and we'll call it tilix. I'm not sure what the command is for tilix. I think it would have to be tilix itself, but we'll check that out. User share applications. Let's look for tilix. Let's right click that and go to properties. Command is tilix. Okay, that's fine. So let's close that. Tilix. I'm not sure how the window manager class group works. I'm not that technical on that stuff. And then we had, what did we have on the other one? I need to check that out again. 2 and 1. So it's 2 and 1. So we go, it's 2 and 1. So we want this to start on 1, I think it was. Let's test that. And that's on that half. So we go done and done. So now we've got our work layout. So let's say that this is how I like to work. The work layout can be called up Super Alt L. So if we go Super Alt L and we click on work layout, and there's our layout, just like that. This is like a window manager type thing, whereas you can quickly just have things up and running straight away on the Budgie desktop wherever you like. Now the other thing we can do with this is let's edit our work layout. Now let's just say, what am I doing? Super Alt L, edit that, and let's just say text, for example. We wanted that on the second monitor. We can go done, and then we can go done, and then we can click that. Now, that is on the left-hand side of my second monitor. You can't see that. I don't know if I can record both monitors. I probably can with... let me open up. Let me shut down OBS for a minute, and I'll open up Simple Screen Recorder, and I'll record both desktops. That'll be interesting. Let's do that. So we'll go Super Alt L, click on Work Layout, and there you have them on both screens. I'm actually not sure if you can make it centered on both monitors. You probably could. I'd have to probably mess around with that a bit. But as you can see, they're on both monitors. So there we have layouts. Pretty handy to have, to be honest. You've got a lot of flexibility there in what you want to do with it all. Let's just change that back to the one screen, and done, and work layouts, and there we go. So you can name it anything you like, I suppose. But I like the integration that Budgie has done with the window shuffler. It's quite nice. That can get you up and running with working on things you want to work on pretty much straight away with wherever you want them to be. I don't know if you can work on workspaces. I'm not really sure. That would be an interesting one. So you could have things set up on workspaces, possibly. You got target monitor. You got try to move existing window. I'm not quite sure what that means. The window class of the window to be launched is mandatory. So I don't know whether that means that you've got two windows open of like Firefox or something like that, and maybe you can pick up that second window. I'm not sure about that. I would need some clarification. Hopefully someone from Ubuntu Budgie is watching this video. They might be able to clarify what that means, because I haven't quite worked that one out yet, but this is all pretty good stuff. But definitely if you're working with a lot of windows open, and typically you might work with 5 or 6 windows open or whatever, and you want to arrange them very quickly, then you can Control Alt S, and then you can just arrow right. There's 6 windows straight up, and then you can Control Super A, and you're aligned to the grid straight away. Now, obviously I've only got 5 open, so 1 grid's left open. But yeah, you can do that pretty quickly. So Control Alt S, and arrange them whichever you like. So if you've got 4, if you've got a grid of 4, like so, and only aligns 4, and you've got 5 open, I think it'll just randomly choose one that goes behind. Now, I don't know which one's behind. What have we got open? So if we do Alt Tab, we can see what we've got open here. System monitor. Home, Tilex, celluloid. So we've got all those open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one of them definitely isn't there. Now the window shuffler also, the Alt Tab. Let's have a quick look at Budgie Extras. Show an overview of windows in exposed-like way. That's previews. So if we went to desktop settings and we look for preview, I suppose, because it is installed. It might even be in here. So I'm looking at previews here. We can show windows in an expose-like way. I'm just trying to figure, I had that running when I was testing in the VirtualBox, but I don't know how I got that running, because it should be an Alt Tab, which is the normal Alt Tab there. Well, actually it's in the menu under previews. I forgot about that. Previews control in the menu. There we go. Run previews. Show windows of all workspaces. So we close that, and then we can Alt Tab, and then we have the previews. So if we do, let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, open that. If we have a look at the show the grid, and we do 6 of those, let's escape that and Control Super A to align the grid, and then we can Alt Tab, and then we got the previews here, which is really nice. Having said that, if we change the grid again to, so if we change the grid to 4 and we got 5 applications open, and then we align them to grid, Control Super and A, and then we go Alt Tab, then we can figure out. So I know that the OBS is on my other monitor, so I've got Celluloid, Firefox, Tilix, gedit because it's an untitled document. That's my OBS system monitor. So we've got Celluloid is down the bottom, Firefox is down the bottom left, Tilix is top right. So it's the gedit or the text editor that's not showing. So if we choose that, so if you hold the Alt key down, that'll show up all the time by holding the Alt key, and pressing the Tab key will change to which window you want to select. So let's select gedit, and there it is there. So that's quite handy, looks really nice, easy to understand. I quite like that a bit better than the standard Budgie Alt Tab, because it's a lot more easier to figure out what is what. And you get a little window showing, a nice little small icon window showing you a preview of what's open, which for me is easier to get around than a really small tab sometimes. So that's how that works. So there is many things that you can do with Ubuntu Budgie Desktop. I cannot go through them all. It would be a very long video, but I just thought I would go through the welcome screen, which I think they've made some very small changes just to make it a bit more refined. And I think it goes through the welcome in a very logical way that helps the user understand what's going on with the system straight off the bat. I'm not sure where the system settings is in the menu. I still cannot find it. Well, I haven't looked since I've done a log out, so let's just have a quick look. Yeah, system settings, can't find it. Can find it on a search by typing it. Settings, there it is there in Budgie settings, but it's actually not showing in the menu. I don't know if it's hidden for a reason. Let's have a look here. We have a settings here, but that's for the Budgie desktop settings. So that's a little bit, I don't know if that's intended behavior by the Budgie team or whether it's just an oversight within the menu itself. That's interesting one, to say the least. But yeah, the two main things you want to remember in this menu is the previews control, this one here, previews control, and also the Windows shuffler are the two main things within the menu. Now I think the Windows shuffler was in the last release in the menu, I believe, but not as integrated as what it is now. So it's quite a nice touch the way they've integrated it all with the layouts and all. So, and yeah, the previews control as well. I think they are two well-deserved things that need to be in the menu for you to sort out your desktop in a way that you could use it a lot quicker than just looking for applications. You can open applications real quick on this one here with the layout set up. So that was Ubuntu Budgie 21.04. Now, if there's anything you're interested in within the Budgie desktop at all, just write it in the comments below and I'll be quite happy to make a video about it. If there's anything that you're curious about at all in this desktop, I can definitely make a video about it and cover that. If it piques your interest in any way, then we can take a look at it. But to go through the whole lot would be a very long video because there's just too many things to cover. That's why I thought I'd go through all the appearances, the window layouts, the Budgie extras, so people can see on this video what's available, and you might find something curious that might give you interest in wanting to run Ubuntu Budgie, but you want to know how those things work first. So anyway, that's Ubuntu Budgie 21.04. Looking quite nice. Looking forward to seeing what it will look like for the next long-term support. And if it's anything like it is now, I think it's going to be a really nice desktop to be using. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and thanks for watching.